Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to be making an image picker, and this should be pretty quick. So we're going to create a single view app here. We're going to give a product name of just image picker. Okay, and we will create that on the desktop, new folder, code, tutorial, underscore image picker. And I will upload both the individual file and this entire project into a zip folder for you to download afterwards. Link will be in the description. So went ahead and created it, and I went ahead and created this ahead of time, and this is what the code looks like all in all. So it's actually not a lot of code. You're literally looking at all the code for this entire thing. So let's go ahead and just kind of, it's even smaller if we don't have to wrap the text. So I'm going to start by creating, I'm going to go right click in here. I'm going to right click on any of these files. It makes sure it's in the proper hierarchy there. New file, and I'll create a new Swift file, not a SwiftUI view. I'll make an image picker. Okay. Note that was a Swift file, okay, not a Swift UI. That is, or Swift view. I mean, that is so crucial. Okay. So now I need to import both Foundation and Swift UI. I like to keep both of those always. Okay. And there are two things we need to do here. The first thing we need to do is we need to have a delegate and a coordinator. So this is the controller representable, and this right here is our coordinator, which is the delegate. So we need, essentially, first we're going to create this coordinator because this entire representable needs a coordinator to function. So we'll create our first class. So class is going to be called coordinator, okay, and it needs to adhere to 3 different protocols. So NS object, UI navigation controller delegate, and UI image picker controller delegate. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, and I like the other names. So image picker coordinator. Okay, and in here we only need a couple things. We need a binding variable. It's going to be image. It's going to be an optional UI image, and that's going to be passed between this representable, the actual coordinator, and then all of your Swift UI views. Okay, so we're going to have that. Okay, and then we also need to make sure that at initialization, that's what we need right there. We need to initialize with a parameter of a binding UI image, and we'll just say UI, or this image is image. So when it initializes, it passes this upwards binding wise. Okay. So just to reiterate, this underscored image refers to this binding variable, and this image here is the initializer. Okay. So I can make this one say potato, and I can make this one say potato. Just so you understand that this is this and this is that, okay? Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to decide what happens when, let's read this together. So you can actually find this just by simply going, you can just write func image picker controller, and you want we want this one. So I think it's because I already have it, I can't do that. So it's did finish. Okay, so I can just do this. Did finish. There it is. Do you see that? Okay. So that's the same function I was about to create. Okay, I already have it finished though, so I'm gonna keep in mind. So that's the function that you're gonna need. It's did finish picking media with info. Okay, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to essentially unwrap the UI image picker controller info key, the original image, as a UI image. Okay, and then if we are successful in that unwrapping, then we'll take the image and pass it upwards, and then into this underscore image into the binding variable. And what that lets us do essentially is pass it now over to the image picker UI view controller representable, and that also lets us manipulate it in our Swift UI views. So now on to this part. So the second thing you need to create is this struct. Okay, and the struct has very few pieces as well. We need to make sure we keep this binding var image. Okay, and we need that in order to communicate with the coordinator and also coordinate with our Swift UI views. We need 2 type aliases here. Okay, so this one right here is pretty much telling us that The view controller type is an image picker controller, and this is setting what our coordinator is so that the two can communicate with each other. Okay, and we're going to set a default that says that our source for the image is going to be the camera. Okay, which means that this is not going to be from the image library, but just bear with us because that's just the default. So whatever you pass under the when you initialize the image picker, you can actually pass the photo library instead. But assuming you pass nothing, it's going to assume you want the camera. Okay. So we're then going to use. There's two functions, or I should say, we need three separate functions here. Okay. I'm going to copy them over, and you can write them out. Or most of these are like autocomplete functions. So we have three that we need to bring over. We need to have make UI view controller. Okay. And in there, we're setting the source type and we're setting the delegate. Okay, so that's the first one right here. And so that is what's going to let us what's going to let us communicate with this image picker coordinator. Okay, that's the first thing we added. The second thing we added is make coordinator. Okay, and that's going to similarly, that's also allowing us to connect and communicate with the image picker coordinator. And lastly, what we need to do is right here. We need to write update UI view controller, and we don't use this at all because if you notice, you're going to have something like this. Okay, we don't need. I just kind of closed it up because we're not actually going to use it. Okay, and that's it. So this is the whole page of code you need for an image picker. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down slowly. You can pause and make sure you have everything perfectly correct in case you're having some issues. Like I said, I'll be saving this file so you can just drag and drop it into your project. Okay. Because once you have this file, what we can do now is we can go over the content view. And I don't want to waste, the whole point of what we're doing now is we're trying to set up an image picker, so I don't want to waste time showing you how to work on an action sheet. We have a whole other video on that. So I'm actually going to reach over to a different project where we do have the action sheet ready to go. And that is from my series. I have a whole series right here on how we're creating an Instagram lookalike for sharing recipes. So I'm going to grab image picker. I can find it right here. So we're going to have one button. We're going to be creating one button. Grab everything that has to do with this. Okay, there we go. From here up to here. And we'll go through what every single line of that code means, okay? So I'm going to get rid of this text hello world, okay? Instead, I'm going to paste all that and we're going to talk about it one line at a time. So what I'm creating is I created a button. So do this piece with me first, okay, before we continue talking. Above the body, you need to create a new state variable. So state var. We're going to call it show action sheet. It's going to be equal to false, okay? And we're going to have another one called show image picker, okay? And one more that's going to be called source var source type. It's going to be equal to UI image picker controller delegate dot source type controller dot. Let's see if we get the delegate. I think that's right. We have it right here. This is what we need. Okay, so it's going to be of type UI image picker controller dot source type, and the default value we'll give it is dot camera. Okay, and then what we're going to do is if you look, so you need to have these three. Okay, and once you have these three, what we're going to create inside here is just a button, and the button is going to have one. I'm even just going to make it, its content is just going to be a text that says show image picker. Okay, and that that button, when you click it, it will toggle the show sheet. Okay, don't even want to do toggle. I just like to do straight up equals true. Okay, so if you click on this button, if you click on show image picker, it is going to switch show sheet or show action sheet. We need to copy that over. Show action sheet. It's going to be equal to true. Okay, And then what we're going to do is this action sheet, whether or not it's presented, it will be based off of that show action sheet. Okay, put that. Now, the next piece of this is in the action sheet now. And if you have any questions about action sheets, or if you have any questions about where I got this from, where I've used this before, I'll put links for both in the description. So now, in the action sheet itself, the action sheet is going to have, I'm going to click resume so we can look at what each of these actually did here, okay? What each line did. So the action sheet has a title that says, add a picture to your post with no message, okay? We'll just run it instead. And the action sheet has 3 buttons. It either has a camera button. So this, you can almost think of this as like 3 different items here, okay? So button 1, okay, button 2, and button 3. Okay, so we're saying that when you click the button, show an action sheet, and it's going to be present or not present based off of the state variable show action sheet. The action sheet is going to have a text of this, a message of this. It'll have 3 buttons. The first one is camera, and when you click that button, it's going to say show me the image picker. Show image picker is true, and it'll say show me using the camera. When you click on photo library, it'll say show image picker is true, so show me the image picker, and the source type is the photo library. And the last button is cancel, which just dismisses the action sheet. So we can see that right here, show image picker. And if you're using a simulator or anything on your computer, the camera won't work, okay? But if you click on photo library, you can see that it truly does work. Just take a second to, there we go. I remember having this issue previously as well. Let's refresh it really quick. Just going to rerun it. Oh, you know what? We're missing one more piece of code. That's what it is. So, easy mistake to make. So, we need one last piece here, okay? And I'll show you what that is. Sheet. Okay. We need one more piece, and that is going to be right here. Okay. Sorry about that. So on the bottom of this action sheet, right here, or I should say this button, right there. Okay. What I need to do is I need to add a sheet to that. Okay. And the sheet will be, its presence will be based off of show image picker. Okay, and its content, we'll get rid of that. I like to do it the other way. I like to do it like that. And its content will be an image picker dot init image picker. There we go. And let's go ahead and let's put an image up here. So one more state variable. State var image will be equal to UI image. Okay, and it'll be an optional, because what we'll do is we'll say the image that gets passed into this image picker will be image. Okay, and the source type will be source type. All right. Sorry, I always do that. It just should be like that. Okay. And then that should take care. Let's try again, see where we're at. Show image picker. Looking backwards. It doesn't like a different thing here. Let's put just the text. And if that works, then we'll know that this is okay. It's this, is presented. That's what we needed. Sorry, forgive me for that difficulty there. There we go. So there's a bunch of different initializers. Don't move too fast and not realize that you had the wrong or you were looking for the wrong variable there. So this is what it should look like. Okay, so say dot sheet and is presented show image picker. Okay, and then we have inside, instead of this text, let's go ahead and just put what we wanted. The image picker with the bindable image. Remember, this refers up to this one up here. Okay, and that needs to probably say self dot. Okay. And then source type is based off of source type up here, okay? It's the same one, the one that we set in the button as well, or in the action sheet. We'll save it, we'll run it, and now we should actually be able to see the image picker. Show image picker, photo library, and here it is, it'll pop up in a second. There it is. So now we have all these images we can pick from in the image picker, okay? So now what we need to do is we just need to add one more image so you can get an understanding of how to get that to pass over. So ZStack, I'm gonna put all of it into a VStack. Let's take this button, embed in VStack, and I'll put an image on top, and the image will be we'll say if image does not equal nil. So we're saying if this image right here does not equal nil, and then otherwise, so if it does not equal nil, then we're going to create an image that has UI image of image. But if it is equal to nil, then we just want an image. Okay. System name. I'll just use time lapse. I really like that one. Okay. And in either case, I'm going to say dot resizable, dot scale to fit, and then I'll say lastly dot frame width 300, height 300. Okay, I'm going to use that on both of them. Okay, try again. Let's see if it just lets us use it over here. Nope. We'll just run in a simulator again, okay? Alright, so show image picker. So now it's a time lapse because I don't have an image stored up there. We'll go to photo library, we'll pick an image. Pick an image. I picked that one. Sure enough, here's the image. The thing I want to do is I want to be able to make sure that when I click photo library and I pick an image, I want to make sure that when I click on that image, it actually automatically picks it and closes this. So I don't want to have to cancel every time like that. That kind of sucks. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that in my image picker coordinator, I'm going to create a new variable here called, it's going to be binding as well. And it's going to say show image. I like to keep the exact same name. It'll be bool. Okay. Then I'm going to come here and use the same thing. I'm going to say show image picker binding bool. Okay. This is show image picker. Okay. And then I'll say when media info did when I'm done picking, I'm going to say show image picker will be equal to false. So I want to hide it. The other thing is I need to do the cancel function. So I'm going to I use the autocomplete to get that function. So I'll say show image picker equals false. And what I can do is I can work my way upwards now. And I can pass that forward as well. So I'm going to write show image picker. And it's not going to like it yet because I haven't actually put that inside of this. So now it'll like it. So now I created it and I passed it forward into the coordinator. And then I'll go one more level. Oh, let's go check what it didn't like there. Oh, we need that because it's something that's binding. And we will go right back to the last place we need. Right over here in content view, we need to make sure we add that. So let's just recreate it. So image picker. And we want this one, okay? So we're going to keep this. So image is self, I like that one. Source type is the same, okay? And the last thing I'm going to do is this show image picker is going to be show image picker. I'm just going to pass it forward, okay? So self dot. So now, when I save it, I just changed here and did the other changes on the other page. Save it, run it, boom. What that should do for us is it should actually close it without us having to click cancel. Photo library. There you go. Okay, let's pick another one. Show this one. There you go. All right. So like I said, I use this component here in my full stack tutorial of how to create Instagram styled applications for recipe sharing. If that's something that interests you, I actually go through a lot more things like half modals, Google Firebase, a lot of other big topics. If that's something you're interested in, please check out that video. I'll have a link in the description below.